Hey, what's up guys? Joker here. Today I wanted to tell you about an upcoming World War II multiplayer shooter called Battalion 1944. This game got my attention immediately after speaking with Bulkhead Interactive because of being focused on World War II. I've mentioned on the channel before I'm a big fan of those old school World War II shooters, single player as well as online multiplayer, and this is definitely being made in the vein of those old classic titles that I'm a big fan of. United Offensive and Call of Duty 2, Enemy Territory on Wolfenstein, Medal of Honor, Allied Assault, all of those old great classic games that I feel like have been missing from games for the past, maybe 5 to 10 years or so, because there's been that shift to modern military. Because I will admit that the World War II genre did get exhausted at one point, but I feel like we've been away from it for so long because developers seems like they've been afraid to go back to it, that I think now is the time for World War II to make a return. And I really feel that that's why this game is being made, from speaking with the publishers and watching the videos and stuff and the material that they've put out so far for the game that you guys are seeing on your screen here. It seems like they have that really strong attention to detail, and they're really making the game that they want to play because no one else is making it. And I could totally respect that, because there are a lot of types of games that I remember from my youth that aren't being made today, and this is definitely one of those games. We've seen some games like Red Orchestra 2 and recently in that Day of Infamy mod for Insurgency. Those were a little bit more open. This seems a little bit more close quarters, kind of like those older titles. So I'm definitely looking forward to seeing more from Battalion 1944. I'm going to have links down in the description below to all of the information for this game if you guys do want to check it out. As far as the gameplay is concerned, in Battalion 1944, you can choose to go at it solo, or you can play with a group of friends by joining up in a platoon. Playing through the game and leveling up, you will have a cosmetic-based unlock system that's going to be centered around a realistic art style that focuses on World War II, obviously. They're not going to do anything here with the sort of character design and the customization that would be uncharacteristic, I think, of the Germans or the Americans in World War II, based on the current militaries that we have in this game right now. So it's going to be focused on that, but you will have some customization, things like custom patches and engravings on the weaponry, or things that I've seen here that look really cool, things that definitely make sense, and things that actually did happen back in World War II. And you could see that when they went out to Normandy, like, they have the old classic weapons that people had engraved, the real weapons from World War II that have been saved and preserved since then. They're just taking inspiration from real life and drawing from that, and I don't think that can really ever hurt in a situation with a game like this. I really like that they are focusing on skill-based here. It's going to be skill-based. It's not going to be any grinding for weapon unlocks, so we're not going to, it doesn't seem like we're going to see a situation where players are going to have advantage for either having just better gear or leveling up more, where a new player is going to come into the game and instantly just get owned by someone who has, hundreds and hundreds of hours into the game. It's going to be, more skill-based. People are going to come into the game, I'm going to have, a Car 98 and you're going to have a Springfield, and those are going to be pretty evenly matched, and I could be a level 1 and you could be a level whatever. And, that's the kind of balance I like to see in games. It's all well and good having all of these amazing unlocks and these progression trees, and, it kind of keeps that carrot dangling in front of the player to keep them coming back. But that doesn't really that seems more beneficial, to the publishers that want you to just keep playing their game than it is to the actual players that just want to have a good time. So I'm glad to see that being focused on here. Before we get out of here, I just wanted to mention that there is sort of like a checklist in my head when I look at new games and things that I look for, based on what the type of game it is, and based on this being a multiplayer shooter, it seems like they are really hitting all of the check boxes that I want to see a developer hitting, or a publisher hitting, pre-release. Now, we still have many months to go before we actually see a playable version of this, if it even gets backed, if it gets funded, and we see this game come to the light of day. But based on what I'm hearing so far, I like where this is going. I like everything that I'm hearing. It's just a matter of seeing if everything does come together at the end of the day, and I feel pretty confident that it does, because it seems like they've got a good group of people here working on Battalion 1944, putting attention to detail into things like dedicated servers, anti-cheat, attention to having good, solid netcode. We've seen that a lot recently in big AAA titles where they put so much attention into, the graphics and the marketing and all that, and then something like netcode gets pushed to the wayside, and that's why you stop playing it after a week. You know what? I'd rather have a game with good netcode, you know, than a game with $100 million marketing budget from Ubisoft, personally. Weapon balance, another thing. Obviously, you got to have really strong weapon balance in a game like this, when you are going to have a limited number of weapons too, because when you're drawing from a strict source material, you can't really, there's not really a whole lot of room to expand on that before you start getting out of the realm of realism, and then you probably start abandoning some of your fan base there, I would feel. Yeah, I can't wait to play Battalion 1944. I think you guys could probably tell that by hearing me talking about it. So I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. Be sure to check out all of those links in the description below, and I will catch you guys next time. Ta-ra.